The art of filmmaking is by far one of the most accessible mediums used in our current time to narrate and tell stories to the rest of the world, and The Master, by writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson, should not be any different. This challenging and psychological drama was well performed by a very spectacle cast, such as the likes of Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It is by far one of the most interesting films I've ever seen that dives deeper into the experiences of a human being with trauma, obsession, and control. The film was made in 2012, and writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson had in mind to make a film about religion ever since he had finished his most popular film, There Will Be Blood, and what soon followed was something similar. The Master mainly tells the story of Freddie Quell, a veteran of the Second World War who comes home uncertain about his future. If you can dive deeply into this character's personality and the manners of his behavior generally, it would seem that he suffers from a complete post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, from what he had seen in the war, leaving it for us to witness this violent and often peculiar individual who often deals very strangely with the world. His obsessions and uncontrollable behavior comes to a halt when he is met with Lancaster Dodd, the leader of a nascent philosophical and religious movement known as the Cause. Freddy soon sees himself more and more close with this movement claims, rituals, and objectives. What's not so certain is Freddy's convictions to the Cause. He is mainly seen as a soldier or right-hand man to Dodd and his members, acting as both a loyal follower and the interesting figure we still seem to find dislike in his behaviors. The ambitions of the Cause seem more and more apparent to us once we crucially witness its writings. But what's absolutely more interesting is its exercise scene with Freddy known as processing.
Are you scientific in your thought?
Yes.
Leaving aside its brilliant performance from Joaquin Phoenix, the Master has another confrontation scene, much similar yet more interesting and somewhat exposing to the film's original idea. Lancaster Dodd and other members of the Cause are invited to a house in order to experiment their process and other activities from their original philosophy. What soon follows is somewhat of a very interesting and exciting moment in this film.
I still find it difficult to see the proof with regards to past lives that your movement claims.
Would you care to submit yourself to processing? Look through the telescope, as my friend said.
Well, perhaps another time. You've also said that these methods, cause methods, can cure leukemia, according to your book. And
Some forms of leukemia. In being able to access past lives, we are able to treat illnesses that may have started back thousands, even trillions of years.
Trillions?
With a T, sir.
The Earth is not understood to be more than a few billion years old.
Well, even the smartest of our current scientists can be fooled, yes?
You can understand skepticism.
Yes,
can you not?
yes, yes. For without it, we'd be positives and no negatives. Therefore, zero charge. We must have it.
Good science, by definition, allows for more than one opinion, doesn't
Which
it?
is why our gathering of data is so far-reaching.
Otherwise, you merely have the will of one man, which is the basis of cult. Is it not?
Tis. And thankfully, we are, all of us, working at breakneck speeds and in unison towards capturing the mind's fatal flaws and correcting it back to its inherent state of perfect. Whilst righting civilization and eliminating war and poverty, and therefore the atomic threat.
Well, I find it quite difficult to comprehend, or more to the point, believe that you believe, sir, that time travel hypnosis therapy can bring world peace and cure cancer.
I have never been to the pyramids, have you?
No.
And yet we know that they are there.
It becomes apparent that the Cause's leader is met with a very skeptical confrontation as to the practices of their movement. He soon becomes pretty much uninterested to confront a possible opinion that may be in opposition with what he had brought.
Is there something frightening to you about the Cause's travels into the past?
Frightening?
Yes.
No.
What scares you so much about traveling into the past, sir?
I'm not
Are you
frightened.
afraid that we might discover that our past has been reshapen, perverted, and perhaps what we think we know of this world is false information?
Time travel does not frighten me, sir, because it's not possible. What does frighten me is the possibility of some poor soul with leukemia
there are
coming
dangers
to
in
you.
traveling in and out of time as we understand it. But it's not unlike traveling down a river, you see. You travel down the river, round the bend, look back, and you cannot see around the bend, can you? But that does not mean it is not there, does it? But certain clubs would like us to think that a truth, I say truth, uncovered should stay hidden.
I belong to no club, and if you're unwilling to allow any discussion...
No, this isn't a discussion, it's a grilling. There's nothing I can do for you if your mind has been made up. You seem to know the answers to your questions. Why do you ask?
I'm sorry you're unwilling to defend your beliefs in any kind of rational
Oh,
way.
if you already know the answers to your questions, then why ask? Pig fuck!
Anger seems to take the best of him, and we are soon met with a clear truth. The cause seems nothing more but a very subjective and dogmatic movement that certainly has got Lancaster Dodd as its central figure. And when he is confronted about the apparent will that he has dominated, he is met with the truth, leaving him enraged. And soon, it becomes clear that the anger that you are experiencing due to something quite new to one's own convictions is much more aware of a different viewpoint. One's desire to return back to such a condition is necessitated in every way possible. Thanks for watching.
Ready? Stop.